The air in our living room felt like it had been sucked out, leaving a vacuum that pressed against my chest. I stood by the window, the cold glass fogging under my breath, and stared at my wife Claire curled into the corner of the couch. Her fingers clutched a mug of tea that had gone cold hours ago. Her knuckles pale as bone. "Pack your things and leave," I said, my voice a low jagged thing, like a blade caught in a grindstone. Her eyes, wide and glassy, met mine, and for a moment, I thought I saw a flicker of guilt, or was it defiance? Before she looked away, her lips trembling. 15 years. 15 years of laughter in cramped apartments, of whispered promises under starlit skies, of her hand in mine during the worst storms of our lives. And now this. The truth had crept in like a thief, silent and insidious, until it stood between us, undeniable. I'd found the first clue 3 months ago. A text on her phone, glimpsed by accident while she showered. "Meet me at the cafe, 7 p.m. Don't tell him." The name attached was Mark, her coworker, the one with the easy smile and the lingering glances I'd dismissed as harmless. I told myself it was nothing, just work, just my imagination twisting innocent words into something sinister. But doubt is a seed, and once planted, it grows. The house was too quiet now, the kind of silence that hums with unspoken accusations. The clock on the mantel ticked, each second a hammer against my skull. I remembered the late nights she'd come home, her hair slightly mussed, her excuses about deadlines and team meetings delivered with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. I'd believed her because I wanted to, because love is a kind of blindness. But then there were the receipts, crumpled in her purse, for dinners I hadn't been invited to, for hotel rooms I hadn't slept in. Each discovery was a cut, small at first, but deep enough to bleed me dry. "Why?" I asked, my voice cracking like thin ice. I hated how vulnerable it sounded, how it betrayed the rage and hurt clawing at my insides. Claire set the mug down, the porcelain clinking against the coffee table, a sound sharp enough to make me flinch. She stood, her movements slow, deliberate, as if she were navigating a minefield. Her auburn hair caught the dim light from the lamp, glowing like embers, and for a fleeting moment, I wanted to reach out, to pull her close and pretend none of this was real. "I didn't mean for it to happen," she said, her voice soft but steady, like she'd rehearsed the words. "It was a mistake, David. A stupid, selfish mistake." Her eyes searched mine, pleading, but there was something else there too, a hardness I didn't recognize. He was there when I felt alone. "You were always working, always distant. I needed someone to listen." The words hit like a slap, stinging with their half-truths. I'd been working long hours, yes, building a future for us, for the family we'd planned but never had. But distant? I thought of the nights I'd cooked dinner, waiting for her to come home. The way I'd memorized the lines of her face as she slept. "You're blaming me?" I said, my voice rising. The room suddenly too small to contain my anger. "You cheated, Claire. You lied. For months. And now it's my fault." She flinched, wrapping her arms around herself as if to ward off the accusation. "No, it's not your fault. It's mine. I know that. But I was drowning, David. You didn't see it. You didn't see me." Her voice broke, and tears spilled down her cheeks, catching the light like shattered glass. I wanted to believe her regret, to let it soften the edges of my pain, but the image of her with him, laughing, touching, sharing secrets that were supposed to be ours, burned too brightly in my mind. I turned away, my hands gripping the windowsill until my knuckles ached. Outside, the street was dark, the neighbor's porch light flickering like a dying star. I thought of the first time I'd suspected something, 6 weeks ago, when I'd driven by her office late at night, unable to shake the unease that had settled in my gut. Her car wasn't in the lot, but I'd seen it parked 2 blocks away, outside a dimly lit bar. I'd sat there, engine idling, watching the door, telling myself I was paranoid, that she'd walk out alone, laughing at my foolishness. But then she'd emerged, her arm linked with his, her head tilted back in a laugh I hadn't heard in years. I'd driven home, my hands shaking, my heart a fist in my chest. "How long?" I asked now, my voice barely above a whisper. The question hung in the air, heavy with the weight of what I already knew but needed to hear. 6 months, she said, her voice so quiet I almost missed it. "It started as nothing, just coffee, just talking. But then, she trailed off, and I didn't press her to finish. I didn't need to. The details would only sharpen the knife already lodged in my chest. I turned to face her, and the sight of her, small, fragile, her eyes red and raw, almost broke me. I wanted to scream, to beg, to ask how we'd gone from vows to this. But instead I said, "Did you love him?" The question slipped out before I could stop it, raw and desperate, like a wound torn open. Claire hesitated, her lips parting, then closing. That pause was an answer in itself, and it gutted me. "I don't know," she finally said, her voice trembling. "I thought I did for a moment. But it wasn't real. It wasn't us." "Us?" I echoed, the word bitter on my tongue. "There is no us anymore, Claire." The finality of it hit me like a wave, cold and suffocating. I thought of our wedding day, her dress catching the sunlight, her smile so bright it had felt like a promise. I thought of the nights we'd spent planning a future. Kids, a house by the coast, growing old together. All of it, ashes now. She stepped toward me, her hand reaching out, but I backed away, the space between us a chasm. "Don't," I said, my voice hard. "Just don't." Her hand fell to her side, and she nodded, tears streaming down her face. The silence stretched, thick and unbearable, until she spoke again. "I'll go," she said, her voice barely audible. "I'll pack tonight." She moved toward the stairs, her steps slow, as if each one cost her something. I watched her go, my heart a tangle of love and hate, grief and fury. I wanted to stop her, to pull her back and start over, but the weight of her betrayal anchored me in place. Then I saw it, the glint of her phone on the coffee table, left behind in her haste. My pulse quickened, a sick curiosity clawing at me. I picked it up, the screen lighting up with a new message. "Mark," I told him. "It's over. Come to me." My breath caught, the words of fresh betrayal, sharper than the first. She hadn't ended it. She'd chosen him, even now. I set the phone down, my hands trembling, and looked toward the stairs where she'd disappeared. The house felt alive with secrets. Every creak and shadow a reminder of what I'd lost. But as I stood there, a new resolve hardened in me. I wouldn't let her leave to him. Not yet. I grabbed my keys, the cold metal biting into my palm, and headed for the door. If this was the end, it wouldn't be quiet. It wouldn't be clean. And it wouldn't be on her terms.